Silk 106.9.
So I'm chatting to a school that I have been to a number of times with our School of the Week, but obviously we can't do it anymore and all that kind of stuff. But I class myself as friends of the school anyway. It's lovely to see you all, by the way. We've got head teacher Mrs. Deakin from Marton and District C of E Primary School. Have I still got it right?
Yeah, well done.
Yes, I still got it right. We've also got Lena as well. Hello, Lena. How are you? You all right?
Hi. Yes, good. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Do I have to call you by your teacher name, don't I suppose? Mrs. Owen. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll let you off.
And we have a face here that I don't know. Who's this? Who's the third person there?
I'm Mrs. Field, the deputy head.
Deputy head, right? So you take all the pressure off Mrs. Deakin, or you do the job she doesn't want.
It's called teamwork.
Absolutely right. So this week is all to do with children's mental health. So who shall we go to first? Let's go to the head teacher first, Mrs. Deakin. What can you tell us about Mental Health Week, and how important is it for children's mental health at the moment?
It's massively important, and I think if there's anything that's positive to come out of this COVID lockdown time, and I have said the word positive, is that more and more people will recognise the importance of good mental health and well-being. So at our school, we've dedicated a whole week to supporting our families and our children and the staff, and we're going to do that next week in the run-up to half-term to give people a chance to have a bit of a break and have some fun together away from remote learning.
So have you done specially adapted lessons to bring this in? How have you dealt with it all then?
We've split the week up into a special theme week, and each day has a separate special named day, and staff will be uploading various activities and planned events to engage with families. So we've got Mindful Monday and Tasty Tuesday, and it's just to give parents an opportunity to do some fun things together as a family.
Lena, let's come to you then. Have you been doing this remotely then? Have you? Is it challenging to do these specialized kind of lessons or remote lessons for mental health remotely?
Yeah, I think particularly, I have the young children at Marton, and it is very difficult because you're used to seeing them, they're used to seeing you, they're used to seeing how you respond to things. We've got some children that are in school, and then we've got a lot at home, and we've got a lot of parents, who find it very difficult to support their children's mental health at the moment because this is difficult for everyone. So yeah, it's about saying it's okay to not be okay to these little children, to talk about their emotions, because it's not something people do naturally, I don't think. So it is hard doing it remotely, but we have a lot of fun. There's a lot of games played, and we get a lot of information from our parents, and it's really brought us all together, and I think it's made us a very strong team with our children and with our parents as well.
Is that the key then, when it comes to educating children and then keeping an eye on their mental health? Make it fun all the time, because when you come to maths and maybe somebody's struggling with their maths, like I used to do, you can't really make that fun. I used to look at the maths teacher and go, "Oh, here we go."
Well, when maths and lessons, things like that happen in school, we always make it fun anyway, and it's just about continuing that at home. So an example of mine is all my class did shopping yesterday. They all went shopping and learned about adding numbers together and buying things and giving change. But also, in the same time, not many of our children are actually going to shops at the moment. They're not having those interactions with anybody. So by us saying, create a shop at home, mum and dad had good fun. The amount of parents I watched in lessons yesterday, laughing and joking with their children and experiencing actually what shops can be like without face masks, because they were just playing shops at home. So we're overlapping mental health and also giving children social experiences within the home, and also giving parents a little bit of time and saying it's all right to have some time with your children and enjoy it.
We're going to come to. I'm really sorry. I've forgotten your name already. Deputy head teacher. We need those competition name tags that they had in the 80s on the telly. Name tags. What's your name again? Sorry.
Mrs. Field.
Mrs. Field, right. Deputy head teacher, Mrs. Field. So if you spot a child that may be struggling mentally, how do you approach that with a parent? Can you literally go to a parent and go, "I think they've got mental problems"? You can't say that, can you? You can't do that.
No, you can't. But we've got really good relationships with our parents. So, some parents might come to us and say, "We're struggling with this. They're finding this particularly difficult. we're making sure that we keep in contact with our families as much as we possibly can. So, you know, that might be a phone call home to say, how are you doing? The amount of people that just want to talk and to hear that, you know, we are all not in the same boat, because that's probably the wrong saying, but, you know, we are all together in this, and we are here to help at the end of the day. So, you know, whatever we can do to help, you know, we've still got things going on in school, in terms of play therapy and that sort of thing for the children that really are struggling. So it's just a case of keeping those communication lines open so that they can come to us, we will go to them. And yeah, we're lucky that we have such a good relationship with all our families here.
This is a question to all three of you, by the way. So with everything going on at the moment, is depression in children more prevalent right now with everything going on?
Yeah, right across the board, people are feeling very low. The previous lockdown was much, much different in the summer, when everybody could go outside. Children were drawing rainbows and putting them outside, and there was a lot more joy because the weather was nice and people enjoyed being out in the garden, going out for walks. This time's been difficult because it's dark. It's miserable time. January is always a long month, so people naturally feel quite low. This time, I think parents have found it really a struggle because there's no break after the Christmas holidays to come back to school and get your head down and have a school place. So the impact of remote learning has had a negative impact for everybody because it's hard at home. We've been trained as teachers to teach. You're, as a parent, you haven't got that role, and now you're forced into that position. It's quite a challenge.
So this is another question to all three of you, by the way. What if a parent notices subtle little changes in happiness at home with the children? How do they approach it then? What should they do? What's the first thing they need to do with that?
Good communication with school is key for this. So it may be that we give parents a ring and they might say children are not eating properly, or they're going to bed at different times, or they want to stay in the pajamas all day. And while those things are pretty normal as one-offs now and again, every day that starts to be a bit of a worry. Children have lost their routine for school life. They thrive on routines. So we're finding the communication with our parents is when they trust us to tell us if something is not quite right at home.
Let's move on to the homeschooling thing then, because it's a hot topic, and lots of parents, including myself, are we are proper mithered. We are I've just seen you do that. Yeah, proper. We are proper mithered with it. Can I be honest with you, as teachers all over there? I hate the homeschooling aspect of this. This is a nightmare, and it can't carry on. Well, so what do you say to parents then that are coming home? Say they're a key worker. They come home from a 12-hour shift. Then they've got all these alerts on their phone saying you've missed your funky phonics, you've missed your maths lesson, you've missed reading this book. Then you've got to try and cram it in an hour before they go to bed. What do the parents do?
Well, a lot of parents feel really guilty because, and we've sent out communication to our parents over the number of weeks that have basically said, we understand and you have to do what's right for your family. Sometimes that might be, as you say, Darren, doing the work at night time, or it might be stockpiling it and all doing it at the weekend. Or it's giving parents permission to say, it's okay, have a break. We'll have a recovery curriculum ready for when the children come back and pick up the learning as we go on. These are suggestions. Yes, we're following remote learning because that's what we have to, but the suggestions for you as parents. We don't expect you to get everything done. It's great if you do, but it's also great if you don't, because your own well-being and that of your children is much more important.
I think it's also important to bear in mind as well that most teachers are parents themselves. So I've got two teenagers. One of them is doing GCSE chemistry, which I can't help her with. It's just too hard. So, you know, it's for us as well. It's finding that quality time to spend with our own children, as well as worrying about everything else that is or isn't going on in school. So it is a big juggling act for parents, I think. to find that right balance. But it is about finding the balance and not about putting too much pressure on yourself to get it all done all the time.
Again, to all three of you, though, the message from the government, I'm really sorry. I don't want to turn this into a political conversation, but the message from the government was you must do the home learning from school. You need to stick to, whatever your school sends you and all that kind of stuff. That did put a lot of pressure on parents, didn't it? Like, kind of like, all right, been told to do it.
It is a lot of pressure, but equally, lots and lots of parents are working from home and trying to manage their own work expectations as well. And it's got to be what fits right with your family. So it may be, and we understand that an awful lot of children are at home and need adult supervision because they're primary age children. They're not secondary children who can log on to a screen by themselves independently. Our children need that one-to-one and need that rapport. That's how we all learn as small children. Lena has reception children and she spends most of the time talking, all reinforcing over and over and over again. As parents, you can't do that when you're working from home. So it's about cutting yourself a little bit of slack and making what works for your family work and keep the communication going with school. Nobody at school is wanting to put pressure on parents at all.
So it is okay for a parent or a family to go, let's just take a break. Let's just stop for maybe a day or two. Let's just have a pajama day, watch some happy Disney films and chill out for a bit. And then we'll just tackle what you want to tackle in your own time. Is that all right to do that then?
That's what we've suggested for next week for our special theme week, is to give parents permission to come off timetable and enjoy doing some nice things, because you can't keep up this level of interaction at home. It's not realistic, and children are getting fed up now. If they're at home, they're finding that tough. So we want parents to have permission to say, enjoy the week, celebrate being with your children, bake a cake, ride a bike if you can, all of those things.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, all three of you, for your time today. And I know, let me just tell you from Silk 106.9 here, the radio station, and the rest of Cheshire, to you teachers, head teachers, and everybody else in the education profession, I don't know how you do it. I can see it. I can see it personally from my home and my dining room table. I don't know how you do it. So well done and amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your station, Cheshire's Silk 106.